Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Ma ba'd. The question is asking here, when does it become wajib, or is it even wajib for me to spend on my parents? What are the conditions and what is the ruling on this? So now, the ulama have mentioned, if there are three conditions. Number one, if your parents are really desperate, they've got income that's coming in or no income that's coming in and it's not sufficient for them to cover their needs, then it then becomes wajib upon those people who are able to look after them financially and also even physically maybe. So that's the first condition. There has to be a desperate, dire need, meaning they don't have enough. Second condition is that you've got the surplus to actually support them. So if you've got £200-300 left over every month and it's not going to harm you if you were to give it to them, then you must give it to them. But if you want to keep that 200-300 for expenses that you have, extra expenses that you may have, then it doesn't become wajib because you need that. Now here I want us to understand something. A lot of people have this understanding of wanting to hoard and wanting to save. There is nothing wrong with saving in the Sharia, otherwise we wouldn't have zakat. You give zakat on your annual savings after a year. Savings is something which is important, but that cannot get in the way of your wajibat. And we get this with a lot of brothers, you get this with sisters, where they say, okay, I don't want to spend on my family, I don't want to spend upon those people who need it, I'd rather keep it for myself to save it. That's not allowed. If you've got that 200-300 extra, and your parents need it, and they need your help and support, then you must support them. So that's the second condition, you've got surplus. And the third condition is that you will not be harmed in any way. Meaning sometimes if you spend on your parents, they might give to your siblings. They might buy things for them, etc. And then there is an injustice in the way that they are gifting, towards their offspring. So that there is no harm involved. Harm here now also includes something which is haram. Now the evidence for this, for us to say that it is wajib, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَالْوَالِدَاتُ يُرْضِعْنَ أَوْلَادَهُنَّ حَوْلَيْنِ كَامِلَيْنِ لِمَنْ أَرَادَ أَنْ يُتِمَّ الرَّضَاعَةَ. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the point here, وَعَلَى الْمَوْلُودِ لَهُ رِزْقُهُنَّ وَقِسْوَتُهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. Meaning the father must look after his children, spend on them, provide them clothing, بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, according to what he is able to afford. لا تكلف نفس إلا وسعها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not burden a soul more than what he can bear. لا تضار والدة بولدها ولا مولود له بولده. Now here's another point. وعلى الوارث مثل ذلك. Meaning those people who inherit, those close family members, have the same level of obligation upon those people who can support them. So this ayah is saying the father must support his children. It's wajib upon him to spend on them, to give them accommodation, to make sure that they've got food, to make sure that they've got clothing, etc. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَعَلْوَارِثِ مِثْلُ ذَلِكَ. Meaning those people who inherit, those close family members, your parents will always inherit from you, as long as they're alive. وَعَلْوَارِثِ مِثْلُ ذَلِكَ. Meaning they have that haqq upon you also. So these are the conditions. If the person, as we have in the question here, the mother is asking for money from her son, so he's spending on the mother, he's got his own family, he's got his own wife and children, but the mother is using this money for, hairdressers and all these other things that has been mentioned in the question, then that has to be weighed up against those three conditions that we've given in our explanation here. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He grants us all tawfiq and success, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us comfort and unity in our homes upon iman, upon the haqq. هذا والله أعلم وصلى اللهم على محمد.